Boo-ba-dee-boo-bee-boo, it's the beginning of the episode. Behind me is what's commonly known as a pain in the butt. For me at least, terraforming. Yeah, we're gonna do some of that today. Because in this episode, I want to finish this campus. Hello, welcome back to the city building project, by the way. Today, we're gonna finish the campus, and that entails quite a lot of things, of course, including this terraforming, which I'm not looking forward to, but we're gonna have to do at some point. I also want to get my observatory up here, as well as finish the rest of this top area, finish the area behind the student housing building, put trees on this ridge here. I don't think I'm actually gonna put any buildings there. And, as you can see, I've been flying over here. We're going to be working on our sporting area. This wasn't here last episode. I actually spent about almost 3 hours just trying to format this area. It's best viewed from down here, of course, and this is the kind of vibe I wanted. There's still some things to do, but that's that. Before I start on the building today, though, I just want to walk around this campus and show you a couple more things that I've done in between episodes, including these little rumble strips here. This was a suggestion on my accessibility episode. These are for blind people or visually impaired people with canes. They go back and forth on the sidewalk, and if they hear this rumble strip through their cane, then they know that they're next to a ledge. This is often used in city crosswalks and stuff. It's just like a little marker to help you. Plus, you can feel it on your feet if you walk on it. I know it's kind of redundant because with the cane, you can just kind of go over the edge. But still, I thought it might be nice. So I've included this all around every staircase on the campus. Yeah, I've also made a campus banner, which is over here. I thought it might be nice to hang something colorful from these lampposts, and yeah, and then there's this area right here, which I plan to expand. Anyways, that's about enough of that, I think. So let's get started on something. I don't know what yet. This episode, I'm pretty much going to be ricocheting around from that thing behind me to over here to back here or whatever. I'm going to be everywhere and anywhere at once. This is the middle part where I do terraforming. So, when you have a hangnail and it really hurts, but you don't want to rip it off because it might, hurt more if it rips off poorly. So you just kind of procrastinate until it gets really bad. That's what terraforming for me is like. Either I rip it off and it's clean and it's great, or I rip it off and Anyways, bit of an update. I think we're kind of trending towards the bad ending of that hangnail story at the moment. You know what? Things can get better. I hope, right? Well, it's not horrible, and I can live with that. But yeah, if you're wondering why this episode has taken so long to come out, this is why. It took me just under 4 hours in one session to do the stuff you saw in the time-lapse, and then an additional probably hour or something to do all the touches like this fence and these leaves and stuff. And I still haven't finished. Over on this side, if you bear to wait with me while I fly over here, there I've made a cut to save you time. Over here is what I was saying, is I'm still not done. I plan to do this sometime, but not right now. Maybe later in the episode. For now, first I want to finish talking about this terrain. Like I said, it's not the best. It's still, you can still tell it's done by someone who doesn't quite have a complete grasp on how to use brushes and world edit and stuff. I rediscovered the gravity brush, which was nice. If you're wondering where this is sitting, there's a layer of barriers down at y=1. Now, I can definitely say I have the vision to finish this. I just don't really have the skills to back it up, but it's fine, whatever. It's good enough. That's kind of the mantra we've been going on with this series. It's good enough, and that's what I'm happy with. Now, the next thing I want to work on is over here. You see I've got this field right here. This is the exact dimensions of a soccer/football pitch, depending on where in the world you live. It's 105 meters long, and I forget, I think I made it 68 meters wide, I think. I don't remember. I made this last week. Honestly, I'm having trouble explaining my vision for this area, so I think it might just be easier to go ahead and show you. Now, hold the phone. Before I move on, I think it's important to outline what I learned in this scenario, which is, don't do your terrain top down. Never. Don't do it. This took me way too long. Start with your terrain first. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. There's another mantra for this series. How about that? Many, 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 many hours later, I have spent longer than I thought I would on this project today. I haven't gotten as much done as I wanted to either. I originally wanted an elevator there as well as a ramp system so people could actually get down here onto the field and stuff. But yeah, that time-lapse you just saw is about 3.5 hours of building, so, you know, this is the episode of the long time-lapses, I guess. Anyways, let's have a look at the mess we've made so far. So I think I've already shown you over here, this road here. It hasn't changed much, but what has changed is the entrance down to the stands, which is right here. It actually exists. That's the change. These stands are supposed to, you know, feel functional and all. Of course, these seats aren't perfect, but whatever. And although it's a little bit cramped feeling, there's still enough space to walk up and down. Now, I did debate about putting railings on each of these levels, like this and like this. However, you know, I thought it cluttered it a little bit too much, especially when viewing from over here. So I thought, you know, just having a massive purple seats might look prettier from both angles. And you know what? Yeah, I agree with myself. Surprise, surprise. Okay, moving on, we've got our mini scoreboard, which is for the bench seats over there, and then the announcer booth, which is up here, as well as some speakers. You gotta be able to hear everything that's going on in the announcer booth, you know? Makes sense, right? Of course, then we've got the lights to illuminate the field in nighttime. I'm very proud of this light design, and I got these trapdoors on the back to close with the debug stick. Over here is the main scoreboard, and then the fence that I kind of talked about briefly earlier. Now, the fence I'm not too sure about. I honestly, you know, kind of prefer the area without it, but also it makes sense, you know, functionally to have it here. So I'm kind of against removing it. So, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, leave this to the comments. What do you think? Do you think the fence fits, or do you think it should go? Obviously, it's, you know, gonna prevent any stray balls from rolling off the cliff, and stray children from rolling off the cliff, but we're all about aesthetics first, and so if that's the consequence we have to pay, then I guess that's the consequence we have to pay for a good-looking hill. Finally, we've got the field itself. Now, I actually researched this, surprisingly. Well, I mean, I had to make it look reasonable, I guess. So I've got kind of, you know, I've approximated the dimensions of everything. Of course, I've researched the width of this previously. It's just over 7 meters, so that's what I've done. And then the radius of this circle, for example, is 9.15 meters, I think. If I remember correctly, I don't have the page up anymore. So I made it a radius of 8 blocks, because the width of these blocks kind of makes up for the rest of the distance. And yeah, I think it fits. As for the net design, I decided instead of doing cobwebs as is commonly done with soccer nets of this type with the net on the back, I thought glass might be a little bit cleaner, and I do prefer it. I like it a lot. And yeah, I forgot. I almost, I started recording this earlier and I forgot to finish this part, so I finished it and now I'm re-recording everything. This is the area where the players come out, so the change rooms would presumably be underneath this road, sort of kind of like a subterranean building thingy. Speaking of this road, though, I'm not really sure what to do with it, because I have to connect it to that somehow, but it's, how many blocks? It's like 3 blocks down, and I don't want to make it really steep, but I also want it to be the same level for the whole length of this, and so I'm just gonna leave it as a future Kian problem and work on something else in the meantime. Oh, and also, you know the phrase, what is it? It's something like delete your darlings or something. It's to do with writing. Anyways, I don't do that. we save our darlings for something else. So I guess we've got our funny graphic. If you have any suggestions of what to write on these bleachers, you know, by all means, let me know in the comments. So the road I'm willing to leave for future Kian. However, I am not willing to leave this planned elevator ramp system to future Kian. We're gonna get it done. Sometime. Hopefully now. Kian, in fact, told you a lie, and is now working on the other side of the university. I did build this staircase, though. It's kind of like an elevator, I guess. You know, you can go up and down and stuff. Speaking of the staircase, boy, am I proud of it. I think it's pretty cool. That's really all I have to say. It was difficult to make not look messy, and I think I did an alright job. As for the other side, I think I'm going to integrate a staircase into whatever building goes here when I build it, instead of adding one to the edge, because I do like the look of the end just like this as well, so, you know, then we can preserve at least one side of that. And here's a treat for you, since you've stayed so long, the field and shaders. I really enjoy this place. I think it's definitely the type of environment I aimed for it to be. Also, the lights are neat, because they actually look like they light up, which is pretty cool. That's why I love shaders so much. And before my computer explodes, here's this area with shaders as well. I think my computer has some kind of cooling issue, because it's been performing really poorly lately when I put shaders on. Hopefully this works. I've cranked the render distance down. Anyways, here's the Astrophysics Building, which we will talk about in a second. And here is the Observatory, which we'll also talk about in a second. And here's the other side of the Astrophysics Building with shaders. Here's the other side of the Observatory with shaders. And if I can fly over here really quick, here is the cliff and the ballpark again with shaders. Okay, super fast shader tour concluded. Okay, I think things have stabilized a little bit. Let's do this. So yeah, Astrophysics Building, what do you think? I tried some new things with it, and overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Here we've got an HVAC system, which I actually don't think any other building on the campus has. So I'm going to need to add them at some point. We've got some miscellaneous antennas for, you know, the astrophysics, and then a dish for also, you know, the astrophysics. I'm not an astrophysics student. Don't know how much, if at all, these would be used. If you are an astrophysics student, please correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, over here we've got our hidden little rooftop garden, because of course we have our hidden little rooftop garden. Don't worry about the inside view, we don't pay attention to that. I've got some more complicated shapes than I usually integrate into these sorts of buildings. I thought I'd just try, and I'm very satisfied with it. I think my favorite part, though, definitely is these flower pots in here. Don't know how they get there, don't know how they, you know, stay alive, but they look cool, so that's pretty fun. Also, I wanted to use ancient debris in a building. You saw me use it over there, and I thought, well, I just may as well continue that use over here, and yeah, I like it. It's definitely an underrated block, and unfortunately too rare to use feasibly in survival for a building like this, which kind of sucks because it's awesome. It's an awesome texture. Understandably, next door to the Astrophysics Building is our fancy-dancy observatory. I'm actually really surprised at how cleanly this came out. I just kind of did a circle. What's this? Is there a grass texture inside? Okay. Anyways, what was I saying? I ended up just kind of building a circle with some weird edges and extending that pattern up and then putting a dome on it and seeing how it looked. And honestly, yeah, I think that's all that's really needed for something like this. You'll notice that there are no windows. I figured they'd be kind of redundant considering we've got a big one on top, and this one would presumably just be one room inside or something. I don't actually know what these would look like inside. I just know what they kind of look like outside because I've never been in one. And then these pink dots are for trees. I want to plant trees here to block out the light from the student housing building so that this guy can see the stars nice and clearly. Also, speaking of seeing the sky clearly, I was thinking of actually adding like a shade to this lamp in particular, considering its proximity to the observatory. But I'm not sure if the shade is a little bit too much. So, you know what, I'm just going to keep it here for now. I'll let you decide. Do you think it's too much? Or do you think it makes sense and you'd like me to keep it? I know it's just a really minor detail, but it's those kind of minor details that make this world come to life. On the topic of life, though, I think I've spent enough of yours today. I'm also getting a little bit tired of recording myself. And so this is the end of the episode. Good job. Nice transition, Kian. Yeah, so you might have remembered at the beginning of the episode, I said the goal was to complete the campus, and, well, I mean, pretty much everywhere you look, there's something that isn't complete. But that's life, and I'm pretty happy with the progress we've made today. And honestly, I think this episode's getting a little bit long anyways, so even if I wasn't tired of recording, I'd still probably end it because, well, it's been going on for quite a while, and I enjoy making shorter videos than longer ones. I just think they're easier to watch and way easier to edit. So yeah, that's where I'm ending the episode. I'll finish this another time. I guess we can call this complete-ish. I mean, technically, with the exception of that one elevator building over there, we've got all the structures for the campus in place. We just need some trees and to finish the hill and texture the hill and stuff. I still have a few ideas to make this hill a little bit less gray that we can get to another time. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. And have an awesome day. Look at that. I'm wearing a little hat. Oh, that's great. Goodbye. On another note in what did Kian learn today, don't wear pajamas while recording. I always get sweaty while recording, and now my pajamas are all sweaty, and I have to put new pajamas on. I'm a model. I'm such a role model, aren't I?